it's time to break it up a little bit. We're getting tired of talking about these head coaches. It's stressful. Third round of interviews is kind of wild. So it's time to grade. It's time to grade the Colts 2022 NFL draft class. You have Alec Pierce, Jelani Woods, Rodney Thomas, Nick Cross, Bernhard Raimann. There's a lot of guys to talk about. Some of the guys I'm not gonna give an actual grade. It's gonna be NA just because they didn't have enough volume. And my grades solely on this last year. I'm not going off of the potential. I'm not going off of next year. I'm going off the value of the draft pick and how well they played this year, what they showed us. Did they meet our expectations for the rookie year? I'm not giving it a future grade. It's just a grade of their rookie years. That's it. I'm not taking anything else into consideration. So, let's get into it. Not waste too much more time. First pick in the 2022 Colts NFL Draft was in the second round. Pick 53. The Colts selected Cincinnati wide receiver Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce, man, he had some amazing moments in his rookie year. Seemed like every time you threw up a contested ball to him, he found a way to come down with it. He has a lot of heart. He played with a lot of heart. He plays hard every single game. He practices hard every single practice. Didn't really have to have an injury issue. Yeah, he had a concussion. That was really it. It was nice to see a wide receiver not have really an injury problem. An injury problem his rookie year. We got a chance to actually watch him and see what he's got. Because it seems like when we kind of get some momentum, that player gets hurt. And we're kind of put in a bad position. So, overall, Pierce's rookie year, I'd say it was pretty damn good. Especially if you take into the fact how bad the quarterback play was, how anemic the offense was, couldn't do anything, couldn't move, was barely on the field, yet he had 76 targets, 41 catches for almost 600 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. 14.5 yards per reception. For an offense that was anemic, nothing really happened. Got off the field quick. It was, more than half the time it was a third and out. Let's be honest. Very few times where the Colts really went on the field, scored a touchdown on nice drives. Alec Pierce, he had a nice rookie season. Considering all of that we just talked about, he made big plays as well. Big catches and big third downs. Matt Ryan threw it up, he got it. Sam Ellinger threw it up, he got it. Nick Foles threw it up, he got it. Whatever the heck else he had at quarterback, I think that was it. But goodness gracious, the year we had, you never know. But taking all that in, and going to Denver too, that game showed a lot for Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce proved a lot. The game in Denver, it's such a high altitude, and everyone always talks about that. Less oxygen. Players get tired faster. And you know what? Alec Pierce, even though he was probably tired as all heck, the dude kept playing as hard as he could. Didn't have a problem with playing hard. Every single play, he gave us 100%. That's huge. And something I like to say a lot is the player's talent determines the floor. Players' character, their work ethic, their ability to go out there and play with 100% even if they're doing something wrong. That determines the ceiling. Alec Pierce's ceiling is the limit. He could get better at route running. He had decent hands. He had a few times here and there where he did drop a few passes. He had 4 drops. When the beginning of the season was a touchdown, that sucked. But another thing is when he came back from that concussion, didn't phase him. He didn't sit on that drop touchdown. He came back and he played better. I'm giving Alec Pierce an A. He deserves an A. For the circumstances he was in, the impact he had on this, the impact that he was able to have in the offense, the way he playing strong, whether he was tired or not, keep on going, never complained. Hey, Alec Pierce had an amazing year for the circumstances. Then you move on to the second pick. You have Jelani Woods. Jelani Woods, man, he's a freak of nature. He's huge. He is the best tight end in this room. Kylan Granson is a fun tight end, but Jelani Woods is a better all-around tight end. Now, Kylan Granson is an underrated blocker, but Jelani Woods is a Very good blocker. He's huge. He has decent route running. He has decent speed for how big he is. He made some big catches as well. That's the big thing about these first two guys. They both made some pretty big catches, pretty big plays, and big moments. Jelani Woods had that big touchdown reception versus the Chiefs. Then he had another one versus the Raiders. It was a big-time catch. Not really much else, especially when you have Frank Reich and Chris Ballard, who are not utilizing their guys correctly. Mainly blame Frank Reich because that's Frank Reich's job. Why are you not giving Jelani Woods the ball more? When the dude got a chance, he made it happen. You need to get Jelani Woods the ball more. You need to get Molly Cox the ball less. Kylan Granson the ball more. Molly Cox the ball less. He's not it. Molly Cox is not it. He's not it. I'd be willing to go and draft a tight end late, but you know what? You can't. You kind of paid him a lot of money. Yet you didn't utilize him. It's mind-boggling. It doesn't make any sense. Is Chris Ballard just trying to think, oh, I'm drafted. He's my guy. We're going to prove everyone wrong. He's a steal, so let's pay him. Instead of thinking, oh, is he this tight end that's going to make that difference for us? And, should we pay him? No. Chris Ballard doesn't think of it like that. He thinks of it as, Molly Cox was an undrafted free agent, and they made him to something, but he's not great. So Chris Ballard's going to hype himself up and be like, yeah, let's pay this guy. He's our guy. We grew him. He hasn't played. Before he played for the Colts, he didn't play football since, sophomore year of high school. So his ceiling is low. His ceiling has been hit, Molly Cox, and he's not given enough opportunity. I don't think he deserves more. I hate to say it. It's the truth. There's two other guys in front of him that are just more dynamic. Now, Molly Cox is a great locker room guy. He's a great human being. But as a football player, we have two other guys at that spot that can do a better job. So, Jelani Woods, kind of got off topic, but Jelani Woods, 36 targets, 25 receptions, 312 receiving yards, 3 receiving touchdowns, and 2 drops, but 12.5 yards per reception. As I said many times, what Jelani Woods and Alec Pierce were able to do with the way the quarterback play was impressive. And especially with Jelani Woods not getting a lot of time, that's impressive for what he did. Giving Jelani Woods a C+. Now, he could go higher. The value was good. But, the fact that he didn't play more as much as Alec Pierce, it's hard to give him as good as a grade. He did play a bit, but he didn't play enough for me to give him a higher grade. You have to play a decent amount to get a high grade. That's just, whether it's his fault or not, you have to play more to get a higher grade. And, when he played, he was effective. You just need to play more. Next guy we have here was the third round as well. The 77th selection from Central Michigan. He's an offensive tackle. And Bernhard Raimann. At first, it was scary. Actually, at first, it was a little scary because he lost a battle to Matt Pryor. Matt Pryor stepped in, and he was horrible. He was probably the worst left tackle in the league. He should be off the team next year. He shouldn't even be a backup. That's how bad he is. So Bernhard Raimann eventually took over for him. Bernhard Raimann played pretty well. I thought Raimann did nice. I think he fielded nice. But at first, as I said, it was rough. It was a lot better than Pryor, so that's why it's nice. It was rough. He got better throughout the year. And he really picked it up towards the end of the year. He looked a lot better. So I always like to see when a player improves as the years goes on. I like this. I like that. Even though he's a little undersized. His arms are a little short. But, and he doesn't have a high ceiling. He could be an average left tackle for the Indianapolis Colts. And you don't need an above average. You don't need a crazy, it's a luxury to have an elite left tackle. I mean, it's kind of a need and a luxury. But if you have average, it works. It's fine. You can make it work. So, 709 snaps played. 428 pass block snaps. 281 run block snaps. 9 penalties. 7 sacks. 27 pressures allowed. a 73.3 PFF grade. That's a solid PFF grade. And there were a lot of miscommunications, and that he'll learn on tape. But 9 penalties isn't great. That's not very good. And it was in big moments too. When the Colts seemed like they had big plays, it was called back. Bernhard Raimann had some penalties. 7 sacks allowed. Not good. But he's a rookie, and he got better as the year went on. He really picked up towards the end of the year. 27 pressures allowed. Not great. But he did show some promise towards the end of the season, and that's why he's getting a C. That's why he's getting a C. He's not getting anything higher, not getting anything lower. Wasn't a horrible pick. You know, the value was good. As I said, I'm including value into these grades. And the value is pretty good, especially if he keeps on going, but we're only looking at last season. For on last season, he's getting a C. Then your last third-round pick, the 96th overall selection, you got Nick Cross, a safety from Maryland. This guy's a freak of nature. We were so excited for him. It's another one of those things where he didn't get a lot of time. He didn't play a lot. He barely played. So, 10 solo tackles, 5 targets, 5 receptions allowed, 2 missed tackles, 98.3 pass rating allowed, 52 run defense snaps, 2 pass rush snaps, 68 coverage snaps. So we played a decent amount. But 5 targets, 5 catches allowed. That's not very good. He had a few blitzes here and there. And, you know, it's hard to rank him. It's really hard to grade him considering he barely played. From what we saw, you know, he had some nice things really early on. But he had his fair share of bad moments. Nick Cross is getting a D plus. As I've said, you know, I love his potential. Probably isn't even fair to give him a grade. But he had somewhat decent amounts. I mean, no, not really, but I'm giving him a D plus. There's not really too much more to talk about. You know, we were really excited about him coming out. I don't know why he didn't play more. Rodney McLeod played really good. Rodney Thomas was the one that actually played more. We'll talk about him more in a little bit. But Nick Cross is getting a D. That's where it belongs. 5th round, 159, Eric Johnson, defensive tackle from Missouri State. He's getting an F. He played. 1 solo tackle, 2 assists, 62 run snaps, 64 pass rush snaps. Just didn't play enough, and, you know, when he was on the field, didn't really make much of an impact. Not really high on him. I didn't think he had a good year. I mean, I don't even know if it was good value considering what he didn't really do much. He did get some pressures like here and there. I think though that 1 solo tackle actually comes from a screen tackle which he hawked out, which was impressive, but didn't play enough. That's an F. The 6th round, 192nd overall, Alec Ogletree was really disappointed in training camp when he tore his ACL. Not much you could do. Hopefully next year he comes back, and I think he's going to replace Molly Cox. I'm excited to see what he has to bring coming back from an ACL. See if he's going to come back fighting hard. But as I said earlier, when the Colts get some momentum with something nice, it seems like they tore an ACL, they have a serious injury, keeps him out for the year. You know, it happened with Deion Kane. He seemed like he was having a good camp, and just many other players. Darius Fountain was one. Now, considering they were never really, and then Paris Campbell is one that's always hurt. He's getting an NA. Just didn't play. Can't grade him. Then you have Curtis Brooks. He's an F. Didn't even make the roster. It's an F. The last one that we have here. It's the 7th round. 239th overall. Rodney Thomas. Safety from Yale. Smart kid. Really smart player. And he had 4 interceptions. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now, you could say that, whatever. It's 1 year. Did he play a lot? He played a decent amount. And I really liked a lot of things that he can do. I absolutely want to see more. And there's going to need to be improvement. But it shows he's smart because he was in the right place at the right time for those interceptions. Now, some interceptions you can say just kind of not really forced by that player. It could be a tip-off, something like that. But at the end of the day, you're being in the right spot at the right time. Rodney Thomas was that a lot of times. He had a few nice plays here and there. Some nice tackles. 5 missed tackles, 62.9 pass rating allowed. That's phenomenal. Really liked Rodney Thomas. He was a pleasant surprise. He played more over Nick Cross, which is whatever. Nick Cross is probably going to play more next year if Rodney McLeod leaves, which I think he will. His safety room is going to be really young. That's the only scary part. But for the 7th round, I'm giving it a B. That was a very good pick. As I said, I'm just grading off of the first year. It was a really good first year by Rodney Thomas. Really impressive. So, that's the Colts draft class, man. That's the Colts draft class. You guys let me know what you think. Overall, I give it a C+. It was average for the first year. You did get some good value picks. Now, I think Alec Pierce and Jelani Woods are the two that really have the biggest upside, that have the brightest futures. Bernhard Raimann can be average. Nick Cross, if he gets playing time, he could be good. Just didn't get enough to see from him this year. Eric Johnson, I don't think he'll be around that long. Andrew Ogletree tore his ACL in camp. Curtis Brooks, F, didn't even make the roster, that was actually disappointing. I was excited for Curtis Brooks. Really liked where we got him. He was twitchy. He's really enjoyed what he had to offer Cincinnati. Just didn't make the roster. So it's enough. Whether I like him or not, whether I really liked him, it's enough. He didn't make the roster. And you had Rodney Thomas. Seemed like a really amazing value pick, and maybe even be more. He's a B. Very good. But this is a C+ class. This is a C+ class in my opinion. It's not phenomenal. It's not great. It's not bad. It's not horrible. They get you by. If Phil needs at the time, left tackle, wide receiver, Jelani Wood, or tight end with Jack Doyle retiring, filled some pretty important needs that they were kind of desperate for. So that was good that was the first 3 picks. So you guys let me know what you think. Thank you for tuning in to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on so you do not miss any future videos. This is JDW Sports Talk Show, man. We talk a lot of Colts football, but we talk other football as well. Thank you for tuning in. This is JDW Sports Talk Show. Signing off.